Hey guys, everybody watching or reading. Thanks for joining us here with Danny Shiphtur Lee and
Hello.
Roscoe.
Hello.
This is just after you guys secured your spot again in the LCS the day after.
hmm
And here to talk to you about all the stuff going on, your match, what's going on a little bit later before the summer split.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good. Sounds good.
how you guys been doing? You guys been relaxing since the victory?
After our victory, I don't know, we just kind of been vegging out. Like, I feel so brain dead. I think everyone else does too. Like, once we got home, we actually just fell on the floor and just like laid there for like a good 30 minutes. Went out to eat, went to a food coma. So yeah, just a whole lot of R&R.
Yeah, because up until now, between week 10 and now, you guys have just been like pushing pretty hard to prep for the relegations, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the when you and Kiwi Kid were questioned by the Dash on the analyst desk, you guys both mentioned that most of the prep was, of course, like picks and bans, stuff like that, knowing who you want to pick, who you want to ban, but also was mostly focused on Azingi,
Yeah,
getting him comfortable. Yeah.
yeah. Ziggy's like our newest player. He has no competitive experience at all. Like he has like a little bit of challenger experience, but that's like really nothing compared to LCS level experience. So we're just making sure like he knew what to differentiate from like solo queue habits from competitive level, 2v1 stops and all that. Because everyone in challenger scene pretty much do everything wrong, and that's like why they're a challenger team and not an LCS team. So a lot of it was just like making sure he knew what to do, when to be at places at the right time, and just making sure he was comfortable playing like on a online instead of online.
Do you have any examples or stories of different things that like specifically you're mentioning like getting him comfortable?
It was just a lot of practice to be honest. Like it's just
Yeah.
like if you're playing solo queue, you're usually practicing the wrong things like every hour you're playing. But if you're playing scrims and stuff, you're like in an environment where you're doing like you're supposed to be doing the right things instead of just like fooling around doing these like YOLO plays, uncalculated risks, and it's just making sure he understood that.
And when you guys are scrimming, I know that it's talked about a lot on the LCS that you guys, people, if they're scrimming, that you go into it with a strat and you're trying to do that strat, but sometimes if it doesn't work out, you'll just surrender, end the game, and start over again. When you guys were preparing, would you go for the long haul, or what was like? How specifically did you scrim? What was it like?
So we were practicing for 2 weeks. In the first week, if things went wrong level one, um, then we just remake if like we got ace level one or something. But for the past week, we've tried to simulate a best of five format where we woke up at the same time as our relegation match was like at 10 a.m. So we played a best of five straight up. Like we tried to win that best of five as if it was a real match. So no remakes, just try to win the series.
Okay, specific training for what you
Yeah.
guys are about to go into. Um, let's talk about the specific matches. Up against Fusion, that was you guys must have been under a lot of pressure once it started. Once it got to game five, that must have been. What was it like? What were you guys talking about and sitting in the backstage figuring out?
I mean, I didn't really care. Like, I'm like pretty used to good relegation. Like, this is like my third time going to relegation, so I was like, whatever about it. But I imagine it's like pretty stressful going to game five, like you're playing for your job. But once you get to game five, it's just a mental reset. Like we're up 2-0, and morale's getting low as we go to the fifth game. So
Yeah.
you just got to reset. It's 0-0 again, and just don't mess up.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways of thinking about it. There's like the idea of oh crap, like they got all the momentum, but then yeah, that's true. The idea that it is starting from zero. See that too.
Mhm.
Let's talk about your picks specifically. You brought Ziggs back. You got an Ari game, a Cassidon, and a LeBlanc. Um, what made you bring Ziggs back?
Ziggs kind of got buffed a few patches ago. I think his Q mana cost got reduced or something like that.
So you're
And
just kind of
then
like a good choice to pick.
yeah, and then the meta shifted towards like these kind of long range like tanky meta stuff where just like AoE mages just like really shining. And Ziggs is like kind of like the king of AoE mages and wave clear. And also the introduction of Ludens. Like Ludens is a really good item on Ziggs because Ziggs doesn't have that many. He actually doesn't have that many high AP ratios, and Ludens is really good when the champion's like poke oriented and doesn't have many AP ratios. So honestly, it was just like perfect for Ziggs to come back. And also, Ziggs is just a champion you can't throw on. Like he's so straightforward as what you're supposed to do to win a game. Like you wave clear, you push towers, get objectives super easily, and honestly, it's just like the relegation god champ. It's just you just can't mess up on him.
Yeah, you mentioned the one of the questions that you and Kiwi were you're a lot alike, and one of the plays where he went in and he said that he was going to go in and Alistar pulverize. That you just already had that Mega Inferno bomb out. But then I noticed a lot of the bans also centered around LeBlanc. Why was she a contested pick in the picks and in the bans?
We banned LeBlanc mainly because LeBlanc's like probably the best playmaking mid you can play right now, and who he played a lot of LeBlanc in the Challenger playoff, something like that, and it's like his most played in solo queue. So we banned away from him because he's probably their biggest threat on the team, I feel, and LeBlanc was also a very good pick against Ziggs. It's one of his hardest counters, so we just kind of picked around Ziggs, and then once Ziggs started getting banned, then that's why you saw LeBlanc unbanned in Game 5.
Okay. And then Ari and Kassadin. There were both losses. Although Ari was kind of like, it was a loss, but you had a pretty good record. It was like 5-1-8.
Yeah, something like
Why?
that.
Why?
Why to go Ari? He picked Zed, and that's like a pretty decent matchup for Ari. It's like it's mostly skill, but I was pretty confident playing Ari. Yeah, I did mess up early game with that 3-1 top lane, but I think Rebel's just OP. So that's what we banned in next game anyway.
All right. Let's transition over to. I was going to talk about a couple of different things in the LCS, like shifting around. We got Winter Fox relegated by TDK, and then the movement of High. So can you talk about High? Like you're not going to be facing him anymore. Who do you think? I don't know who you like. If you could just make like a speculation or like, what do you think the organization is going to be like without that mid laner of High?
I think I'm not too sure. I don't think like their shot calling's gonna get like super terrible. Like they play with High for a long time. They kind of like get the feel of like how the game's supposed to go and like how the game is supposed to be handled in High's perspective. So I don't think they're gonna make this like drastic change in their playstyle. I guess having like whoever they pick for mid lane, like having a really strong mid lane helps with the game flow. Like if your mid lane has a lot of pressure mid, then your side lane just like have that much more like I don't know the word, just like they can just play so much easier. Yeah, freedom to play like however they want. And yeah, I don't know, like High as a player, I think he was super underrated. Like I don't know why the community hated on him so much for like his mechanical skill. Like I thought he was actually one of like the better laners, but he just like wasn't flashy in his laning. It wasn't like he was gonna like solo kill you. It's just like he played it in a way that kind of like it's almost like bluffing, like what he wanted to do. Like he was very unpredictable, I guess.
Yeah, it's sure he made a couple of mistakes, but it's like that one reason that somebody like the one chink in the armor that they're finally able to like rag on Cloud9 for, that they just jumped on it.
Yeah.
And then over on Winter Fox, do you expect TDK to take him down, or what do you think about that?
I didn't expect for them to lose, to be honest. Like, I think it's kind of unfair that TDK just like busted out Alex Ich. It's like Winter Fox chose TDK when Kyle was playing for them.
Yeah.
But I heard I read it in a Reddit thread that TDK informed Winter Fox. I'm not sure if that's true that they were going to use Alex Ich, but if they didn't, like I feel like that was like kind of unfair to Winter Fox that they just suddenly get to play against this like all-star mid laner, and I think I don't know, I think that was kind of lame. I'm super sad that Winter Fox got kicked out because they're all tech pulled out their Helios, Avalon, and what's his name, Glebe. I'm really close to all of them, and I think they can. I'm sure they can get all back into LCS, but I hope so.
Do you think that any of them, like, do you think they'll just stick together and just push back in at the end of the summer split, or do you think like somebody might get pulled, like I don't know, say Pobelter to Cloud9, anything, or do you think they'll stick or stay or split apart?
depends. I think Pobolter and Altec might get picked up by other teams, but I'm not sure about the other three. Like Helios might too, 'cause Helios is really good. But after you get kicked out of the LCS, a lot of teams decide to just like break apart just because like the challenger scene is just not a fun place to be once you've been in LCS. It's actually really depressing going from LCS to challenger scene just because LCS scene is it's just so much more like prestigious and the challenger scene is just like it's just super unenjoyable to play in, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I get that because it's a lot of time. Even you spend all that time waiting just to go to the tournament to try to get back in. It could be tough. I can see that.
Mhm.
So now that you guys have totally good for the summer split, you're looking forward to that. That's May 30th for you guys. It's the first match. I don't
Something
know
like that.
Yeah, it's the end of May. What do you guys know when you start scrimming? Or you're on vacation for like a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I think we can do whatever we want till about I think about the 18th or 16th, somewhere around there, and yeah, we'll start practicing then. But up until then, our coach Rico actually wants us to like be out of the house just to like prevent burnout because playing the same house like every day, doing the same thing, same old routine, it does affect burnout. And I'm not sure what I'll be doing. I'll probably be in the house for like a week or two, and then just go visit somewhere or something. Yeah.
Visit some friends. Yeah. Let's talk about Rico a little bit. How is he involved in the process? How has he been for the past while he's been here?
Rico's definitely like a big reason why we've been improving as a team. Like I think just having an authority figure in general in the house it's super useful for a team like for our scrim environment that it prevents tilting. The team morale is way higher, and there's actually direction in our scrims as opposed to before when we just be practicing just to practice. But every scrim now, we have a goal to reach. We know what to do. Like there's post game talks as like I know some teams after they scrim they just don't talk and then you go to the next scrim, and so they repeat the same mistakes over and over. But if you do have a coach, then you talk about the mistake, how to fix it, and it doesn't happen next game. So Rico definitely helps a lot. He's really intelligent about the game and teaches us like what we're doing wrong, what we're supposed to do, and yeah, just overall a lot of help to us.
Yeah, when I was talking to one of the guys over at the EU squad, Obvious, he was saying having like broken chart and Frescure, and like when you're just a fives, you kind of just do it. But then once you've got somebody to like point it out immediately, like an objective view, it's just a way easier to improve and to. It's like you can almost not depend on somebody else, but the weight of having to improve and fix your own mistakes, you can pull from other people.
Yeah, and also it's really hard to criticize like from a player to player. Like some players doing something wrong and someone else is doing right. It's almost like you're not supposed to like from player to player. It's just like it's so hard to criticize another player's play because they could take it the wrong way. They might feel like you're insulting them or something like that, talking bad at them. But if a coach is saying it, then they have to listen, or it's just like bad attitude. It's bad for the team.
Yeah, I see that. All right. So yeah, as you guys go into the summer split, do you feel like going forward that you guys have finally reached a bit of level of synergy and like comfortability, comfortableness with each other that you can jump into the summer split well?
Definitely. Like I'm pretty sure we all knew that we weren't getting too hot this first split just because we have like pretty much a new roster with 3 new players, and some of them were still learning English. Like their English wasn't that amazing when they came here, but now their English is like they talk a lot. They're really sociable. They're like really comfortable talking English with us. So I think coming to the next split, we'll be really open with each other and we'll be improving a lot. And I think aiming for at least top 3. Like we don't have that many. We didn't get any points for this first split, so I think to get the worlds, like it's gonna be really hard, but we're definitely gunning for that.
Yeah, it's still good to have those goals. And unless you have anything else you think you want to mention or shout out, we'll do some shout outs to the team or whoever you want.
Yeah, shout out to our sponsors, Rika, Melixia, all my teammates for, getting us through relegations. Shout out to our fans for sticking with us. We kind of messed up during the last split, and lost a lot of fans, but we're working hard to get you guys back.
Cool. Thanks for the interview, man.
Yeah, thank you.